As a cult torture survivor, where confinement was frequently used, I have a hard time being in small confined spaces. I can do it, my anxiety will spike, I won't show it too much on the outside, but have that small space continue for quite a while and it will get harder and harder. Because cult frequently puts victims in small confined spaces. So I was frequently put in small cages where I could barely move, or a little bit larger where I was forced to be on my hands and knees and pretend I was a dog, or frequently put me in coffins where they would first torture me, drug me up so that I was paralyzed, could not move, tell me I was dead, and bury me in the coffin, or put me in earth pits and bury me under the earth, or underneath, like, it's a little bit different, but rats and insects, live insects and things like that. Even at home, my parents would lock me up in like the giant drawer under my bed, or a closet. Confinement is frequently used because it's like isolation, and it's a form of psychological torture. There is so much fear, and when you combine that with them telling us that we are dead or that we're going to die, and there's very little room to move, like a coffin, and very little air, it feels like it is terrifying because you don't know if you're actually going to live. And you might think you're already dead. I did, or parts of me did, thought I was dead, but then there's other parts like trying to live. It is psychological torture, and I think it's a form of physical as well, with the amount of confinement and the inability to move very much at all, and the hours and hours in the dark, or in positions where the body starts hurting. And then in terms of not being able to move, like, there's so many times that they bound me, that they bound my wrists, they bound my legs, they tied me to chairs, they tied me to poles, they used metal clamps to clamp me down onto tables and chairs. Like, there's so much about not being able to move and about being confined that can be really triggering. And then each of those specific abuse or torture scenarios would have its own separate trigger. Like, I'm not good with coffins for so many reasons. I'm not good with deep earth pits or with cages. I don't think anyone or any animal or being should ever be in a cage. Or small little closets. Like, there are so many specific triggers that can come down from each of those things. And it makes complete, utter sense when you look at the trauma and the torture that happened. And it's a way that the cult tries to subdue and threaten the child or the teen or the adult, and show them that the cult has power over them, life and death. It is also a way to encourage or create splitting, so creating new parts inside, new folks inside who can endure the torture, or who think that they're dead, or who want to be alive but know that they have to follow the cult rules in order to stay alive. Like, there's so many reasons that cult does this, and it's all psychological torture and some physical. And for me, even crowds are really hard and really triggering, but that could go down to other memories. But it's also the feeling of being confined and having so many people around me. And so claustrophobia, or having a really hard time in small confined spaces, could be one single sign or symptom of a cult torture survivor, but it's not necessary to be a cult torture survivor, and it would not be the only sign. There's so many signs that you'd have to see in conjunction with others.